Hello, people of YouTube. This is Gray's Guitars. I am Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. We are back to our regularly scheduled long videos. If you didn't catch the short I made, I think it was on Wednesday when I was kind of feeling a little better. I got food poisoning, most likely from Taco Bell, from the chicken cantina quesadilla. I had the quesadilla and two tacos. So I was out for the count Monday, Tuesday, pretty bad. Wednesday still had a bit of a headache. Thursday feeling pretty good. Friday a little better. Today even a little better. I wouldn't say I'm 100%, but I'd say I'm pretty close. You know, we're getting there. But let's go ahead and do a long Saturday video for you. So we're going to talk about the future of Guitar Center. So if you walked into a Guitar Center, maybe I would say a year, maybe 2 years ago, you know, fairly recently, there was absolutely nothing on the shelves. Everybody was bored during the COVID lockdowns. Everybody wanted a guitar, and everybody bought a guitar typically in, I would say, the $300 to $1,000 range. That is typically the comfortable range for most of the world in terms of buying a guitar or, you know, buying something that they may or may not ever use if they don't like it. Probably closer to the $300 to $500 range. Now, if you go into Guitar Center, there is just a ridiculous amount of inventory. Like, whatever you want, it is definitely a buyer's market right now. It is not the best seller's market. I have been lucky where I was able to sell at least a bass recently on Reverb. That was my first Reverb sale. So thank you to the person that purchased that. I think they got a decent deal on it, but you know, after fees and taxes, it definitely hurts when you get it shipped to your house. The thing cost like $90 to ship. I think I actually ended up losing a few dollars in shipping, if I remember correctly. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't more than like $5, but still, it ain't cheap to ship a very long Thunderbird bass. But let's go ahead and talk about the future of Guitar Center here. So if you walk through Guitar Center, you see an awful lot of $300 guitars. If I'm a serious musician, it doesn't feel like the right place for me anymore. Guitar Center's new CEO explains why the firm's future must prioritize premium guitars. So Gabe Del Porto insists the firm needs to evolve to execute in order to survive, and that it has forgotten who its core customer really is. Guitar Center's new CEO, Gabe Del Porto, believes the world needs the instrument superstore, but has conceded it needs to evolve and execute better in order to survive. So Del Porto was named CEO in October and recently spoke to Music Inc. magazine about his vision, what he hopes will be a brighter future for the firm. One that must place a greater emphasis on high-end gear, which I feel like they do. If you go to their website, you know, you usually see a bunch of high-end gear. But, you know, they have a wide range. If you want to experience musical instruments and start off or accelerate your journey as a musician, or customers and vendors need us, he says, but in order to earn the right to be here, we need to evolve and execute better. As such, he discussed why the firm will focus on expanding its premium range of electric guitars, acoustic guitars, and beyond. Somewhere along the way, we forgot our core customer was, Del Porto states, our core customer is the serious musician, the gigging artist, or passionate player where music is a big part of their identity. Over the years, we evolved significantly into servicing the beginner, entry-level customer, which is great, but if you walk through a Guitar Center store, you're going to see an awful lot of $300 guitars. We have some premium product, but we don't have enough. It is very hard to experience our premium products because we have our best guitars locked on the top row where you can't easily get to them. Oh, so they may be unlocking those guitars, which would be nice. So, for the longest time, if you could reach it, you could play it. So sometimes they usually hung the higher end, you know, expensive $1,000 plus guitars out of reach. Usually had to either be a taller person or ask an employee to go and get them for you with a stepladder or something. But now, you know, especially my Guitar Center, there's very few guitars that are over $1,000 that aren't locked up, and then I don't like asking them to unlock it for me, because I hate to say it, most of the time I just want to play the really expensive stuff. I don't want to buy it. You know, I like to dream. Maybe one day I'll buy this $2,000-$3,000 acoustic guitar, because I have been in the market for an acoustic guitar. I don't really have one. But at the same time, it's like, well, I don't want to hassle the employee because then they're going to think I'm going to dish out $3,000 on the spot and buy this thing. When in reality, I just want to play it. Then they're going to be annoyed because I got to ask them to unlock it. Then they're basically watching you like a hawk with it the entire time. At least I feel like they do. At least where I was, felt like they were, were staring me down the entire time. And then they were like, you got to ask them, okay, I'm done playing with this. Can you put it back? And they're like, oh, well, do you want to buy it? And then you got to be like, well, no. And then they're like, well, what if you weren't serious about buying it? Why did you want me to take it down? And then you're like, well, I wanted to try it out, see if I liked it or not. And well, they're like, well, do you like it? And I was like, yeah, but I can't afford it. They're like, well, if you can't afford it, then why are you here in the first place? I was just trying to kill a couple hours. I had an hour or two of time before I was meeting some friends. I didn't feel like going home because it was the opposite direction of where I was meeting them from work. And I just wanted to kill some time. And as I said, you go through that entire scenario, and it's just kind of very off-putting. So when I go in there, usually I'll find something. I'm like, oh, okay, this one's in the mid-range. It's like $800. I can afford that if I really want to. I'll give this a try. And then you never actually get that kind of euphoric feeling of playing something stupidly expensive that you're not going home with, but it's just nice to do. And, they locked them all up. So I think just too many thefts. That's ultimately what it comes down to, is too many people were stealing stuff. So they had to lock it up. And, that unfortunately is what it is. And there's really nothing you can do about it too much other than kind of just accept it. Yeah, not fun. Not fun at all. Just kind of sucks. Pretty unpleasant, I guess I would say. And then they also do have that kiosk now. So for the longest time, like when you walked in, it was just big, open. Everything was on the walls and everywhere. But my local one now has like this giant counter where they have all the guitar pedals in. And, I think they have just like some random small stuff in there too that's kind of expensive. Easily concealable to steal, I would say, kind of locked up as well. But there's usually a person right there. There's like a cashier station and everything. Things along those lines. But why can't that person just watch people going out the door? They got the Walmart receipt checkers now, same principle. Locally, there was a guy that was stealing stuff. He would say, hey, can I see that guitar case? They would say, okay, cool, here you go. He'd put the guitar in the guitar case, walk out the door, and it took him a while for them to capture that guy. I think he ended up stealing like almost a dozen guitars before they finally caught him. Which is, you'd think it'd be after like 2 or 3, not a dozen. I don't know how often that Guitar Center is doing inventory, but that seems a little ridiculous. But yeah, I'm all for it. Obviously you gotta cater to your audience. People do want the higher end stuff, but if you can't get it, you can't reach for it. The people might go somewhere else where they can just grab it off the shelf and not be bothered. A lot of people, I feel like, are like that. They don't want to be bothered to get an employee. They just want to take it off the shelf, plug it in, see if they like it, and if not, we'll put it back on there. And I think a lot of guitarists and musicians do have good respect for the majority of the instruments, and they're not going to damage them too much. An unintentional scratch or something does happen from time to time, but I think for the most part, they don't want to be bothered to interact with the employees if they can help it. Another cool thing here. That Guitar Center has an exclusive run of that we'll talk about here real quick is the Seymour Duncan loaded Fender player models, an exclusive Daytona blue finish. To me, this kind of looks purpley, but I guess it's just a really dark blue, and it looks nice with the maple fretboards there. You got a P-Bass, you got a Telecaster, and you got an HSS Stratocaster with the tremolo, which, I'd like to see a couple of more hardtail strats out there. I don't really ever use the thing. I like the Stratocaster shape over. I love single cuts and I like Telecasters. Don't get me wrong. I don't currently have one. I did have one for quite a while, but wasn't playing it ever. Neck profile was too thin for me. Like the neck, I don't know. I ended up hurting my hand after a while. But these are pretty cool. What are these running for? Let's see. Does it specify what these things are running for? Fender Player Night Series Specials. Let's see. Seymour Duncan pickups. Got the, oh no, I thought I had binding. No binding, but pretty cool. Guitar Center, their annual Guitarathon sale. Yeah, proceed. Let's see here. If they give us the exclusive colors. I'm trying to find the exclusive colors. I'm actually curious how much these things are going for. Electric guitar. Yeah, we're just going to have to sort by this, aren't we? How is Fender not like the top one? Fender. There we are. Where is it? Tom DeLonge. Why can't I find the finish, darn you? Why isn't there a damn link to the thing? There's always a link with these things. $100 off. Let's see here. Here we are. Okay, $1,000. Yeah, USA guitar. That is expected. But what are the pickups in these things? Let's find out the specs real quick for you before we end the video. Let's see. Maple, yup, all that typical Fender stuff. Seymour Duncan's. Oh, it's just literally called the Saturday Night Special. Saturday Night Special humbucker. Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. So yeah, if you want just the pickup itself, free install with purchase. That's really cool. I didn't realize that Guitar Center offered that. So I guess if you buy a pickup, they'll install it for you too in your guitar. There you go. That's a neat little feature too. But $120, you got 3 of them in there, so probably $300 worth of pickups and the Strat anyway, roughly. But I've been rambling. I have been rambling pretty bad in this video. I haven't done a long video in a little while. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and cheers to the future of Guitar Center. Some people love it, some people hate it. I have some local mom and pops that are pretty nice too. But Guitar Center is also, just one of those places when happen to be in that area. I like killing a few hours in, and they got a big, good old selection typically, so it's kind of nice. Worst case, I walk out of there with a pack of strings most of the time, because as a guitarist, you always need a pack of strings. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.